Latina, season Kilimanjaro, season Latina, season Kilimanjaro. Masim tumiseni ngazikati zoke.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een amma ba'd. Welcome to another episode of Can You Handle the Truth? The truth regarding the big questions in life. Why am I here? Is there a purpose behind my existence? If so, does God exist? Why did He create me? And so on and so forth regarding these big questions in life. In the last episode, we looked at how the truth is actually out there regarding these questions. And it's not how some people think that, these questions, there is no true answer behind. Rather, the truth is relative. And so we proved how the truth cannot be relative. Rather, there is only one truth, and it is the absolute truth. And that is because there are so many claims regarding the truth, and they are all contradictory. So, therefore, only one can be the truth. And we mentioned in the last episode how important it is for each and every single one of us to not remain stubbornly upon the beliefs that he inherited from his parents and that were prevalent in his society. Whether it be an ideology, a religion, whatever it be, we had discussed the importance of going out and challenging our own beliefs and objecting to the validity of our own beliefs, especially when we compare them with other beliefs out there. Now we come to a very, very important topic in today's episode, and that is the existence of God. Does God exist? And so I begin by saying that this is the question that has always been popping up, especially nowadays. And that is because of the increase of atheism around the world. And so this discussion, I say, is often put forward in different ways and in different guises. However, the premise is one and the same. Does God exist? And what evidence is there to support that belief? However, firstly, I would argue that we don't really need any evidence for God's existence. And so the question itself, does God exist, is something that needs to be debated. And so it shouldn't actually be, does God exist? Rather, it should be, what reasons do we have for rejecting the existence of God? That is how the question should be phrased. What reasons do we have? What justifications do we have for rejecting the common belief that God exists? Now, don't get me wrong. I believe we have many good arguments out there to support our belief in God. In fact, all the arguments out there are legit, and we'll get into them. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we don't require any evidence for God's existence. In other words, God's existence is self-evidently true. This is the reality. And so the idea of self-evident truths, this concept, this idea of self-evident truths or basic beliefs, is something that everyone has always accepted. That there are some truths that don't need any evidence to prove. Let's take science, for example. And so science takes the world's reality as being a self-evident truth. It believes that the world that we live in is real. In other words, the physical world is separate and external from our minds and our thoughts. So if someone asks, does this world exist? Is it external to our minds? If so, what is the proof for that? We say, we don't have any proof. In fact, we say that we don't need any proof. And that's why we call the belief in the real world as being a self-evident truth or a basic belief. This is something that even scientists, they agree to. Therefore, I would argue that rejecting God's existence is equivalent to rejecting the basic belief in the world as being real, because they are both self-evident truths. And this was confirmed, this proof or this idea of God's existence as being a self-evident truth, this was mentioned in the Quran. And so God has mentioned in his final scripture in the Quran, أَفِي اللَّهِ شَكٍّ فَاطِرِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Is there any doubt in God, in his existence, the creator of the heavens and the earth? And so after having mentioned all of that, I say that, as I mentioned, we do have, arguments that we can put forward for the existence of God, even though we, in reality, don't need these arguments. We don't need to put forward any of these proofs. Why? Because God's existence is self-evident. However, having said that, there are many proofs that we can put forward. And so we'll look at some of these proofs. If we don't have time to finish, we'll look at the remaining in the next episode. The first proof and argument that we can put forward is reflecting over this creation, reflecting over this universe that we live in, reflecting over, us as human beings, reflecting over the earth we live in and everything that's in it, reflecting over the sky above us, the stars, the planets. One of the great scholars in Islamic history by the name of Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, how could evidence be requested to prove the existence of what everything in existence is evidence for? It is well known that the existence of God is more apparent to the mind and innate nature than the existence of the day. Whoever does not see that in his mind and in his innate nature, then he should have them checked. So that's a reality. Just like, no one needs to prove the existence of the sun or the fact that the day is real. Similarly, everything in existence proves the existence of God. And so think about your human body with its massive and intricate control systems. Think about it for a second. Your digestive system, your nervous system, and the various systems in your body. Think about your brain and how it works, how it functions, how it analyzes, how it stores information, retrieves information, then it distinguishes that information and categorizes it all within a millionth of a second, as they have proven. And it does this constantly throughout your human life. Now think about your heart. This heart that if it was taken away from you, you would die, you would be lifeless. Think about your heart and how it works, how it functions, how it analyzes, how it pumps blood continuously for 60, 70 years throughout your body, sending blood throughout your body, and then maintaining, not only that, but maintaining a steady precision, a steady heartbeat, that if it was to be changed and altered by even a little bit, it would cause a heart attack. And then it does this constantly throughout your life. Now think about the world around you. Think about the oceans, the fish, the insects, the birds, the animals, the bacteria, the chemical elements that, have not even been discovered yet and cannot even be discovered and detected. Yet each one of these things has a law. It has something that it follows, a system, total synchronization, balance, and harmony. Now think about the universe around us. Think about our Earth, how it is one planet in our solar system, how our solar system is one system in the galaxy that we live in, and that there are millions of galaxies out there with millions of stars and planets. Think about how they are all orbiting and running in order, and how none of them are colliding with one another. And so some people, they want to make you believe that there is no proof for any divine origin. There is no proof that God exists. They want you to believe that this universe was just put together and it somehow created itself. They say that there was a big bang. And they argue that this life does not have any purpose, and we cannot really prove the existence of a greater creator behind this universe. But if you were to see the design of this universe, you would know that it has a powerful and precise nature. And so something this powerful and precise, moving in such a systematic order. And so if you were to look at the design of this universe, you would realize that something this powerful and precise could not have been just thrown together. It's impossible, and only a foolish person would claim so. And so did all this synchronization, this variation, this infinite numeration, did it all happen by itself, by chance? And so did all of this synchronization, this variation, this design, this infinite numeration, did it all happen by chance? Do all of these things in our universe, do they function perpetually and perfectly on their own? And do they keep on, continuing in that fashion, maintaining themselves also by chance, by no one to put them in order and keep them in order? And so the answer is obviously, of course not. That would be impossible to believe. And so we say that the design, the order and complexity of this universe around us, as well as the world as it is, as we see it, as well as our human body, proves without a doubt a supreme intelligence, a creator, a perfect designer who put it into place and then kept on making it to move and maintain itself. And so all the heavenly bodies and everything on this earth, they are all controlled by precise laws of physics. And so the question is, can there be laws without a lawmaker? Think about that for a second until we come back after this short break.
At the time of Nuh, peace be upon him, the floods swept the entire earth, sparing only those who believed. Today, floods of shirk, floods of innovation, and floods of desires and lust are sweeping the whole earth. Al-Imam Malik ibn Anas of Medina said that the Sunnah is the Ark of Nuh. Whoever boards it is saved, and whoever refuses is drowned and is doomed forever. Join me in Al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyya, the 40 hadith compiled by Imam al-Nawawi.
Join Asim Al-Hakim in Al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyya tomorrow at 11 p.m. and repeat telecast at 12:30 p.m. Saudi Arabia on Peace TV.
Where truth is hidden, misleading quotations create confusion. Where truth is hidden, lack of knowledge and wisdom cause upheaval and commotion. Where truth is hidden, manipulated scriptures and twisted facts emerge. This very hidden truth creates false propaganda, mayhem, chaos, disorder, and turmoil in our lives and the world order. But is there anyone with courage and wisdom? What is the truth, and who has the courage to expose it? Because it's your right to know the truth.
Watch truth prevail and lies perish in Truth Exposed by Dr. Zakir Naik, next on Peace TV.
Welcome back to our show, Can You Handle the Truth? Before the break, we were speaking about one of the proofs or arguments that we can put forward regarding the existence of God. And so we mentioned that that evidence or that proof is by contemplating over the creation around us, this universe around us, the heavens above us, the stars, the earth, and then looking at the things on this earth, the animals, the insects, looking at our own human body and how it functions. And so what I had said is that all of these things prove that there is one intelligent being who has created it in the first place and then maintained it, allowing it to continue in a systematic fashion. And so the universe, the earth, and everything that exists on earth are all giving silent testimony to an intelligent, powerful creator. This is the first argument. The second argument is basically the logical evidence, the logical and rational evidence of the existence of a creator and a supreme being. And so I put forward this question to you. Why do we have something rather than nothing at all? Why do you exist rather than not existing? Ask yourself, why do I exist rather than not existing? In other words, how did you and everyone else get here? And so this argument for the existence of God can be presented very, very simply. And so we say, firstly, something exists. And then we say, you do not get something from nothing. This existence, you do not get it from nothing. And then thirdly, we say that a necessary and eternal being exists. That a necessary and eternal being exists. And so you cannot deny your own existence, because you have to exist in order to deny your own existence. You can't say, I don't exist, because in order to do so, you have to be living and existing in the first place. So the obvious truth is that you do exist. The obvious truth is that you do exist. And so the same thing can be said about the existence of God. And so no one has ever demonstrated that anything can come from nothing unless they redefine nothing, unless they redefine the meaning of nothing. And so therefore the conclusion naturally follows that an eternal being, a supreme being, must exist and be responsible for the existence of everything else, the existence of you and me. And so when we read a book, we accept that an author exists. When we see a house, we accept that an architect had designed this house, that a builder built this house. And so both of these things were made by someone with a purpose by those who made them. So why can't we accept the logical conclusion that this world and this universe, it exists before our eyes, therefore there must have been someone, a supreme being, who created it, and as a result we see it before our eyes. So similarly, who in their sane mind would believe that this entire universe and how complex it is, with the stars and the planets, and then looking at the earth and looking at the human being himself and how intelligent he is, no sane person would conclude that this all happened by chance, that we human beings came from apes, and it was not someone who created us with our intelligence. And so such is God. Such is God who created this universe and everything that is in it, a supreme divine being who brought all of it together and created it in total perfection. He is the almighty power. He is God. He is the creator who has the knowledge to design, and he has the power to design and to create. And so he created this universe and everything that is in it He is the only one who did so. Therefore, He is the only one who deserves our praise and our gratitude. Having said that, how on earth can we become deluded, disillusioned into believing that there was nothing? And then nothing happened to nothing. And then nothing magically exploded for no reason, creating everything in existence. And then a bunch of, everything magically rearranged itself for no reason whatsoever into, self-replacing bits, which then turned into this universe, this massive universe that we live in. And then all of a sudden the earth appeared, and then all of a sudden dinosaurs appeared, and then all of a sudden apes appeared, and then we human beings came from these apes. What kind of sense is that? I want you to think for a second. What kind of intelligent human being would come to such a conclusion? Use your brains and use your mind and think with an open mind and lift that veil that is distorting you from looking at the truth as it is. But if you're still not convinced of this logical way of proving the existence of God, then look at it this way. Imagine that you heard a loud bang and you asked, where did this sound come from? Would you be satisfied with the answer that, it came from nothing and it just happened like that? Of course not. You would say, what was the cause of that big bang? In the same way, rationally, even if we were to accept what they say about the Big Bang, then we say that it must also have had a cause. Something must have brought it into being. Something must have caused that Big Bang to occur. Now we can ask, since the Big Bang has a cause, then what was the cause of that? And then what was the cause of that? And so on. We can go on and on. But eventually, in the end, it must come to one originator. It must come to an end. There's no such thing as an eternal, pre-eternal existence that keeps on, replacing itself and creating itself over and over again. Rather, it must go back to an origin. This is the only logical conclusion to come to. And so we can conclude that this first cause, it was powerful, and it was that supreme being. It was God who brought this entire universe into existence, whether it be through a Big Bang or otherwise. And, this great creator must be intelligent, and so he caused the laws of science, which also govern the universe. All of these attributes of the first cause make up the basic concept for the existence of God. God is the one who created that first cause. He is the one who created the universe and everything in creation when before there was nothing in existence. And this is something that was confirmed over 1400 years ago in the Quran, in which God has said, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ? Or were they created from nothing? Or were they the creators of themselves? And then he goes on to say, أَمْ خَلَقُوا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? Rather, they are uncertain. And this is the reality. This is the reality, whether it was 1400 years ago or it was today. Those who claim that we came from nothing, or that we were created ourselves, or that we created ourselves, or that, this creation came into existence on its own, the reality is, as mentioned in this verse, they are uncertain. They do not have evidence to prove what they're saying. They don't have any evidence whatsoever to prove that God does not exist. And so we say, in the conclusion of this episode, that there are many evidences, many proofs, many arguments that we can give regarding the existence of God. These are two that I have mentioned. The first, that one should reflect over his surroundings, over the universe. Look at everything in the universe, ponder over it, think about it, with an unbiased mind. Lift the veil that is distorting you from seeing the truth as it is. And then automatically, without any external factors having anything to do with your judgment, you will come to the conclusion, trust me, just like any other human being would come to the conclusion that God exists. Until our next episode, I hope you all the best. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Season Konzo Alatina, Season Konzanjalo.